Welcome to the Real Estate Investing Podcast, where we help you unlock your potential freedom through land investing, real estate investing, and entrepreneurship. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Real Estate Investing Podcast. Today's topic, we're discussing how to set and manage your 2024 goals. As always, guys, I'm your host, Daniel Apke. Today I'm joined alone by myself. And since we're entering the new year's 2024, I think it's appropriate to talk about your 2024 goals, how to set them, how to manage them, and what has worked for me and my companies over the years, and analyzing the past versus analyzing the future, and how to come up and determine your 2024 goals. But for the sake of this, because a big thing I talk about a lot, if you guys follow us, is, your mission and where you actually want to go. And, that can get 5, 10, 20 years down the road even. For the sake of this, we're going to focus on 2024 goals, more short-term goals, 12-month goals, and working backwards from there. Simply because I know a lot of our listeners are looking to get out of their job or whatever their situation is. They have more short-term, you guys have more short-term goals. And I want to focus on that because I think it's more relevant to you guys. And it's just one simple goal. You guys have one simple goal in mind a lot of times. So we're going to talk about short-term, setting your 2024 goals. And let's start with talking about how do you set goals and why do you set goals? The simple answer for why you set goals is just so you're not leading blind. I see way too many land investors kind of just sending out mail, seeing what comes back, sending text, coming in and out, dabbling in and out. And they have a goal in mind of retiring their parents, quitting their job, traveling, going on more vacations, whatever it is. They have that, or their wife staying home from work to take care of the kids, whatever it is. I see those a lot without actually breaking down into actionable goals. And although that's the big picture is quit my job, we need to be able to break this down somehow. So the first step is identifying where you want to go. That's the first step in setting any goal. Identify where you guys want to go in 2024. What is your guys' 2024 mission? Quit your job, make $100,000 extra money, make $250,000 so you can leave your job. Just travel more, retire your parents. There's so many, having thousands of people come through the community. I hear so many different stories and what they want, and it's so cool and it's so unique, but you have to have that in your forefront. What are you actually trying to accomplish? Some of you, it might just be make money because this is your first real entrepreneurship experience and you want to make money and get out of your job, which is great. That's why I started my businesses at first, was to get out of my job, but I needed to make money to do that. So identify where you want to go is step one, and make sure that's very, very clear. That the more clear that is, the easier it is to get there. It creates more of a solid vision for where you're going. So you want to make that very, very clear. And then from there, it's simple, right? It becomes an equation. In the land industry, it's an equation. You work backwards. So I can tell you exactly what you need to do if you want to make $250,000 next year, or say you're trying to grow a social media channel. And I know this is off the topic of real estate in general, but it's easy to break down, I think, for you guys. But if you're trying to build a social media brand and you want 10,000 new followers and you've been posting semi-consistently and you know how many followers you're getting per 1,000 views, let's say. So if you're getting 5 views or 5 followers from every 1,000 views, you know how many you need to make to get 10,000. So you just got to pump out more content until you hit that number, essentially, and work backwards. Obviously, it gets more detailed than that, but that's kind of what we're looking at doing here. So first step, identify where you want to go, and then you just have to reverse engineer. So how do you make $100,000? Say to quit your job, how much, for the first thing, to quit your job, so say that's your goal, because I know that's a lot of it. How much money do you need to make to quit your job? $85,000, $100,000, $150,000, $50,000, whatever that is you got to make that very clear. If you make $100,000, you will be able to quit your job. Let's just say that. So you need to break it down into annual first. That's the annual goal. Make $100,000 a year, then I can quit my job. And then what you do is you can break it down more and more. So to make $100,000 in land, let's just say over the course of a year, how many deals is that? So let's say you average, or the community average is about $25,000 per deal. So to make $100,000, you're going to need, 4 to 5 deals after expenses and stuff. Or if you're deal funding, let's just say 5, or let's go 6, and hopefully you make much more than that and get bigger deals even. But let's just say you need 6 deals to break that, to get $100,000 to be able to leave your job. So now you have that quantified, and the question is, how do you get 6 deals? So if it's me, I would send a certain amount of mailers every month to get those 6 deals. Some you can text. There's different things you can do, but then you want to figure out how many mailers or text per deal or per lead. You can even look at it on a lead basis. Will get you to that $100,000. So you have it broken down: 6 deals, $100,000 so far, and so you need one deal per every 2 months, right? So essentially, if you get 2 deals a quarter, that would be 8 deals. So let's aim for one to 2 deals every single quarter, which is every 3 months. So after you have that, you got to figure out, like I said, how do you get those 6 deals? And let's say for the sake of this, we're getting a deal on average of every 2,000 or so mailers. Some have a higher rate. If you're going after smaller properties, you're going to get more deals per mailer, and different things you can get into from there, and text per mailer. But you got to figure out how to get a 1 to 2 deals every quarter, every 3 months. So if you're trying to do that, you send out, 2,000. Even if you send out 2,000 to 3,000 mailers a month, that's going to average you 1 deal per month, right? If you're texting, it's going to be a little bit different formula. And part of this, part of your first quarter, if you guys are brand new to land investing, is going to be about experimenting, what's working, what's not working, how many texts you need to get out, and so on and so forth. But you need to break it into quarterly and then monthly objectives. So let's say you need to send out 1,500 pieces of mail to get 2 deals every quarter, right? Every quarter or so, give or take. So then you know how you're breaking it down into marketable action. 1,500 mailers to get a deal, or every single month. And then you can even break it down, monthly and then even weekly. So every other week you're going to send 1,000 or so mailers, right? And you just keep breaking it down and breaking it down. And if you follow that, you should be able to reach your goals. But the key is to have that vision, how much you need to make, and then how many deals is that going to be on average, and then figure out how to get 6 deals. That's the thing. Once you know that number of how many deals you need, you got to work backwards. How do you get 6 deals? And the good thing about this is we're talking about acquisitions here to get the deals under contract and to be able to sell them. And it's very adjustable. You can always put that ticker up. If you're 2 quarters in, if you're halfway through the year, you need to, put more gas in it. You can put that number up to get there, and vice versa. But you want to keep a strong pulse on the business so you know when to ramp it up. You need to be tracking these numbers and tracking your income and mailers sent out and all of that stuff. You don't want to overanalyze it, but every 1 to 2 months, you want to be looking back at what happened, leads coming in, making sure nothing fell through the pipeline or anything like that. And when you break it down like this, when you realize you only need to send 1,500 mailers a month to make $100,000 or so, assuming all other aspects are good in your business, you're negotiating, you're calling back leads on time, you're being really aggressive on the phones, you're sending out well-priced mail. And then the thing that what comes into play is sometimes you'll get better results and sometimes you'll get worse results. And when you get better results, that's all good. But it's when you get the results you're not expecting, what you do. And there are a few options, but you're going to need to audit your business when it does come to that and figure out what is going wrong. The biggest thing in our community that I see when this happens is people are just extremely underpricing. Typically that is it, actually. Just extremely underpricing and not being aggressive on the phones, not getting back with their leads on time. It's a sales game. There are people making $500,000 a year off sending 2,000 to 3,000 mailers a month, which is a very, not that aggressive amount of mailing. But yeah, so if the plan doesn't go accordingly, you have to have the data, you have to have the numbers in your system and be able to analyze them to see how you can adjust. But the key is after a couple months, once you're in March, April, looking back, saying, am I on path to make that $100,000? And if not, what do I need to do to adjust it? Let's audit the business and let's work backwards again. Maybe since I'm behind, I need to up that from 1,500 to 2,500 mailers, or keep it at 15 consistently and hope some things hit and then send some text as well, maybe. And that's the thing. So your goal is still the same. You still need 6 deals. You're not going to change your goal by looking back and seeing what's not working. I don't mean change your goal from 6 to 4 deals, right? I mean, let's adapt. Let's figure it out early and adapt. Really, because making $100,000 can be 1 deal for you guys. So I just did the average number of 6 deals to get $100,000 if you're using deal funding or so. But there are people coming in the community getting 1 deal for, well over 6-figure profits. And we had Shelby on a couple months ago, and she was talking about how she had a massive deal, and that happens over and over again. You'll hear those stories, but for the sake of this, we want to keep it as the average. I'm not going to tell you to aim for 1 deal to make 100,000, although that could very well be your business model, unless you wanted to, send higher volume mail only to bigger dollar amount and bigger size properties to attack that business model. But I want to stay consistent here with what we're seeing in the community, so we're going to keep it there. But yeah, so it's really simple, guys. When you break it down, it's a recipe. It's just like losing weight. If you want to lose 40, 50 pounds a year, you're not going to try to lose 40. If you want to lose 40 or 50 pounds, you're not going to try to lose it within the next month. You need to break it down into weeks and even quarter, and then annually as well. And then maybe 4 or 5 months, you can lose that 40, 50 pounds. That's a lot of weight to lose, but break it down accordingly and just work backwards. So you have your goal, and this is land focused, but like I said, bringing this back to other things besides land can be really helpful. So like I said, weight, losing 50 pounds, working backwards from there. You want to lose 50 pounds. You're not going to do it overnight. You need to break it down into actual steps. How many calories a day? How many calories a month? How many cheat days do you have? How many days at the gym? What's your exercise schedule look like? What's your eating schedule look like? Business is no different, especially something so proven like land investing. It's no different than losing weight. It's a formula. It's no different than getting more social media followers. It's business. And when you do break it down and you figure out what's moving the needle and what's ticking and making your business grow, it is a recipe. And you just have to execute and analyze what that recipe is and then execute on that. And like I said, the key is to really stay on top of it and analyze and make adjustments if you need to. And within 3-4 months, look back, audit your business, audit what's going on. If you're doing great and you're killing and you already made $100,000 in your first 3-4 months, keep going. Don't stop. Keep your foot on the pedal. Get that and exceed your goals. There's a lot of people coming in the community and looking to make $30,000, $40,000 their first year, because I personally came from e-commerce, and making $30,000, $40,000 in a drop shipping store, e-commerce store, sometimes your first year is very successful, right? The margins are lower. This is land though. That's why I moved to land. We're making 30,000 plus on a deal, every single deal, let alone a month. So, if you guys just put your goals as get one deal per month, which I think is super, super achievable, work backwards from getting one deal a month. You'll make $250,000 or more off getting one deal per month. That's 12 deals. And you break it down into one deal per month. How many mailers do you need to send out to make $250,000, right? Let's send 2,000 to 3,000 a month, be super aggressive on the phone, do some follow-up text, and break it down into a science. Once you have your goals and your recipe, essentially, and that's what I really want you guys to get out of this, is figure out what your recipe is to hit your 2024 goals in the land business or your real estate business. And once you have that down, once you have the recipe down, get it down into monthly and even bi-weekly type of thing so you can track it, and then always look back and analyze on what you guys are doing right. And another thing I want you guys to look at is, if you guys have been in the space for a while, look at your past performance, because your past performance can be a great indicator of your future performance. And I'm not talking about if you made $50,000, you're going to make $50,000 next year. I'm not talking about that at all. So for my other businesses that I've had in the past, I know how much ad spend I need to get a lead in a deal, right? And you can look at that type of information in your businesses as well. And you guys need a big enough sample size. So don't do this if you're just started, but you need a big enough sample size and look at your past performance. How much mail, how many texts, how much time is it taking to get a deal? How much time is it taking to close a deal? What's your average profit? Things like that you can really build in, and looking at your past performance can be one of the best indicators of the future. And the second thing I want to talk about is if you guys are in an accountability group, if you're in our LIO community, or you have other land investors or whoever you're working with, you want to hold yourself accountable to your goals, let everyone know your goals, and then throughout the year, work with your team and your group to look at how those goals are going, whether it's an Excel sheet or something simple, to making sure you're sending your 1,000 mailers every 2 weeks or your 2,000 mailers every 2 weeks, and you're getting that deal once a month. And you guys can work as groups to really figure out what's working for each other, help each other out, and get you to the goal. Because everyone wants everyone to hit their goals, right? And those accountability groups and all these other communities, that's the key. And so you have your accountability group. I'd highly recommend getting in one if you're not. And then you need some sort of mentorship as well. Someone who is where you want to be. And that's the key. Don't find a mentor who's talking about business coaching and they've never actually owned a decent business that you don't want. There's people who teach all this stuff and they're not actually where you want to be. So find a business coach, or even if it's in land investing, the specific, that would be best if you guys are trying to get that. Find a land investor who is getting these deals, who it's somewhere you want to be and you admire them and what they've done and how quickly they've achieved success and they've done it for a while, whatever that is. Find a mentor in the land investing space to help get you there. Because when these bottlenecks come and these hiccups come, maybe 3 months go by and you don't have one deal. But I'll tell you right now, if your goal is to hit $100,000 by the end of the year and you come in 3-4 months with no deals and hardly any leads, you'll still be able to hit those. There's no doubt in my mind. And finding a mentor to hop on calls with, boost you up, understand that what you need to do to get there and just break it down with you is super, super beneficial. So accountability groups to kind of work side by side with the others, build out your goals, build out your recipes with these guys, share your recipes, and then work together to achieve them. And then on the second hand, that's your accountability group. And it creates a really strong foundation for your business, I think. And then a mentorship kind of on top. That's you're meeting once every other week or something like that. That's not necessarily holding you accountable, but working through the business, working through the bottlenecks, working through things that are coming up in yours to keep you moving and keep the machine well oiled. I don't have too much to add, but yeah, comment what you guys think on this. I'm really curious. Comment what your guys' land goals are, what your real estate goals are in 2024. Excited to hear about your guys' goal in our calls and everything. But as always, guys, thank you for joining. Please like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. It really helps drive our mission forward. Thank you for joining. We'll see you next episode. As always, thank you for joining. Please do us a huge favor and like and subscribe our YouTube channel and share this with a friend. It really means the world to Ron and I, but more importantly, it could help change the life of someone else. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next episode.